What's up, Jammies? Welcome back to another episode of Ricky's Ram Jam, presented by Barefoot Wine. The Rams came up short against the Bears on Sunday, but it's on to Week 5, and we are hosting the Packers at SoFi Stadium. Big show coming up today. I have Omar Ruiz from NFL Network joining me in a little bit, and I had the opportunity to sit down with Xavier Smith after his Week 3 major game-changing punt return. We talked about that with a little bit of a Ram Jam twist, so that's coming up soon, so don't go anywhere. But first, the coin toss. Drum roll. We had our first hit. We hit, you guys. Caleb Williams was sacked 3 times in Week 4, crowning the first coin toss victory. So if you called it last week, I want to hear you sound off below that you nailed it. Give yourself a pat on the back. Pour yourself a nice glass of Barefoot wine, because we are the kings and queens of the coin toss. Okay, so for this week, I'm thinking, how about a Kyren Williams touchdown? It would be his 8th consecutive game with a rushing touchdown. Looking pretty good. Or, I know I've already done this one, but I want to run it back because I'm willing it to happen, and I feel like it will. 2-2 touchdown. Obviously, we want both, but if you have to pick option 1 or 2, what are you going to do? Let's kick off this episode with style by heading back to Week 3. I had the opportunity, like I said, to sit down with Xavier Smith to learn more about his story and that amazing punt return. Check it out. Xavier Smith.
How you doing?
How's it going?
It's going good. A little busy.
Yeah.
But
What are you doing things? Like, what's going on?
Just people in general, fans.
Yeah.
People.
The life.
This is what we work for, so I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely. Okay, so Week 3. Let's go back to Week 3 for a second, okay? There was an incredible punt return that set up the game-winning kick.
Yeah.
Before we go through that in a little bit more depth, talk to me about that moment. What were you thinking when the ball was in the air?
This going to the crib.
Yeah.
We about to win the game on this return right here.
So you knew it.
Yeah. So before the play, I think it was 2nd down or 3rd down, I told Tyler Johnson, I was like, if they give me a chance back there, I'm about to win the game for us. And not wanting to make it about me.
No, but
just knowing if I get an opportunity, I'm gonna help my team win this game.
Yeah,
sure.
you called it. Is that how you envisioned your first NFL touch happening?
Nah. Honestly, thinking about the first one, I was nervous.
Right.
Just because I'm I never played in the NFL before, so it didn't feel nothing like I thought it would have felt.
Right.
So just having that moment, probably, it just means a lot. It's it's just everything I could have dreamed of and probably more.
Yeah, and then, so you get the game ball. Take me through that moment. Did you know it was coming? You're
nah,
I got it.
Honestly, I didn't, because I felt like it was one play, and maybe I kind of underestimated the severity of that play.
Right.
Because to me, it was just I'm making a play to put my team in position to win.
Right.
But
and then they won.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
And seeing for me, my favorite play was probably the reaction of the sideline, more so than it was what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your NFL journey is so humbling, and there was a story floating around out there that when you were in high school, you weren't getting necessarily recruited, so you wanted to take matters into your own hands. What did you do to get recruited?
I probably emailed 100 coaches. I wish I still had that email so I could go find them. I remember the email xsmith444@yahoo.com.
444, okay,
yeah,
got it.
That was my email. But I emailed probably every coach. I went down every college roster, and I found the running backs coach and the receiver coach, the special team coach, and I emailed them all the same letter.
Yeah.
I never heard nothing back, but even on my Twitter, I was DMing JUCO coaches.
That's awesome.
I was doing everything, trying to find somebody to just give me a chance.
Did you make your own highlight tape? Is that something I heard too? So are you an editor? Do you think you're
I look back at that highlight tape now, what was I doing? I could have did a lot better than what I put together.
Was it sort of like, the old Real World TV shows where they'd be like, hey, it's Xavier Smith, I'm auditioning
Like
for...
it was Huddle.
Yeah.
So like Huddle automatically had the plays. You just put them in order.
Okay, got you.
But the order that I put some of those plays in, I'm like, what was I doing? Like, no, I could have did a whole lot better than what I did.
Yeah, but hey, look at you now. So ended up walking on to Florida A&M and then become an HBCU All-American, MVP in the Legacy Bowl. Like, so you've been that guy.
Right.
So how did it feel to put it all together in your week 3 first NFL touch, like to see the fruits of your labor pay off like that? How did that feel?
Just it felt good because I know how much I prepared all the way up until this moment. It wasn't like they told me I'm playing and then I started preparing. Like I've been preparing like I was the starter all the way from the beginning. So once I finally got that opportunity, like I was ready. And that's probably the most at peace I felt, like before a play. Like I knew I prepared for this moment. So, thank God.
Yeah. So you seem like a guy that likes to have some fun though as well. Okay. So if you'll indulge me, I want to recreate your 38-yard punt return. Okay. And we're going to just have you draw it on the whiteboard, but there's going to be a twist. I'm going to blindfold you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You going to have some fun? Okay.
That's cool.
So throw this on.
So wait, I gotta put it on before I even...
Yep.
All right.
And then I'm going to hand it to you. It's a good look. All right, I'll take the cap off for you too.
I feel like Superman.
All right, here. If you reach your hand out, I'm going to give you the board. Okay. All right, so what I want you to do is draw the whole thing out. Like the moment the ball's in the air, you're celebrating with your teammates on the sideline. Don't forget to draw your mom flying in and being at the game. So walk me through this play call.
All right. Okay, it's 11 guys right here. 1, 2, 3. All right. I know that's messed up. Right. So he punted to me.
Okay. Your spatial awareness is very good. It makes sense why he is a wide receiver.
Okay, boom. So he punted. This the punter right here.
Yep.
He punts it down.
Okay.
I see it. I see this gunner. He's kind of split both of my jammers.
Okay.
And he gets by right here.
Yep.
So once I catch it, I just make him miss. Like I got like 4 blockers. They come down. And they set in the wall. They supposed to set the wall.
Can you see? You're crushing this drawing.
Nah, I can't see.
Don't lie to me.
I promise.
Don't
I can't
lie.
I promise.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay.
I'm just like I got.
He's that dude. Okay.
I got X-ray vision.
Okay.
X-ray vision. So you messed me up. I knew that.
You got 4 blockers.
Okay. So they set the wall.
Okay.
When they set the wall, I know if I make my guy miss, they did their job. Mm-hmm. They already set the wall. So it's on me to get behind the wall and take it up the sideline. I see the punter. So I try to weave him in and weave him back out. And then he kind of knocked me out. And then, Mon Dukes, she understands. So it's Mon Dukes, this Mon Dukes.
There she is.
She's screaming. And I see her, so I point to her, and I kind of just
throw the little heart.
I get a hearts to mine, dude.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
You want to see your drawing? You can take a peek. You did it really good job.
Okay. Okay, that's what's up.
How did you? Are you sure?
I promise.
Wow.
I promise.
That was great. So yeah, that was your first touch in the NFL.
See, I'm way outside. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it went.
And then everyone going
and I
crazy.
Did. Like, to me, that's my favorite part of, like, just seeing the sideline in the background.
Going crazy.
Yeah. Like seeing that excitement, like, for me, that meant the world.
Yeah.
That meant the world right there.
Yeah, no, I could watch that all day.
That
Xavier,
meant the world.
Thanks so much for hanging out today.
No problem. Thank you.
How can you not root for that guy? That was so much fun. We just looked back, and now it's time to look forward to the Packers. And to do that, we welcome in NFL Network reporter Omar Ruiz. Omar, it is so great to see you.
Always a pleasure to join you, and always a pleasure to see you.
So good to see you. It's a get right game for the Rams on Sunday at SoFi, and I want to talk about the run game. But first, you were at SoFi this weekend with your daughter, who was sporting the cutest, but Daddy, I love him. Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift merch, Dad of the Year. But now you got to make. I know Travis Kelce was at SoFi this weekend, but you got to get her to a Rams game. Come on, Omar, what are we doing
Well,
here?
she's only been to Rams game. This was her first non-Rams game.
Okay, fair.
So she's still a Rams fan at heart, but
Good.
now
Okay.
is a Travis Kelce fan because of the Taylor Swift connection. And it's just unbelievable for me as a dad. And I don't care what it is. I think we can only ask as parents to have your kids engaged in something. And for her to be so engaged with Taylor Swift and her songs and knowing all the words to hundreds of songs and all the catalogs of the albums is just really cool to see her enthusiasm for that. And if it's a connection to football for her and allows me to be a football dad because of that for her, then heck yeah, I'm going to support that.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I love all three of your girls incredibly much, and I'm very happy to hear that they're Swifties like Auntie Erica. That's very important to me. So let's talk Rams. You know them well. You cover all teams, but you do know the Rams very well. Kyren Williams has a rushing touchdown in 7 consecutive games. How important is that to continue, but also to get Kyren and the run game going on Sunday, especially against the Packers?
Well, I think it's critical, and I think that's important for every game. And, of course, every team in the NFL wants to establish the run. But I think for the Rams, how they are right now, just kind of looking to find their footing. And I think to establish that physicality in the run game that Sean McVay likes to play with and to set the tone. I think it's important for all those reasons. And because Kyren Williams can be a player that is a heartbeat to the team, with his style and his energy and just the way he runs the football and how that's so contagious to a football team. I think for all of those reasons, it's important to get him going, and obviously for the reason you just said, because simply he gets into the end zone, and
Right.
they need to find ways to continue to score touchdowns. I think that was the difference in Chicago, the fact that the Rams had 5 scores to the Bears 4 scores. But the Bears had 2 touchdowns, and then that essentially was the difference in the game. So finding ways to get into the end zone, riding Kyren Williams for the energy, the enthusiasm, setting the tone, all those reasons will be critically important against the Packers as well.
Yeah, it's 7 straight games with a rushing touchdown, second longest in franchise history since 1970 when the merger happened. And Coach McVay was talking about it on the the coaches show this week about how what was most frustrating for the team is not the lack of play, but the lack of execution. And so I think using that, because this team is so capable, even with all the injuries, even with all the missing pieces, that to get Kyren and some of these other players that we're going to talk about, like getting the fundamentals right, because it's just like an execution thing, which they've had a couple of missteps with. Tutu Atwell has been impressive the last 2 weeks. We don't have Kupp. Puka's sidelined. This has really, impacted the Rams offense. But how do you see these guys like a Kyren, like a Tutu, even a Jordan Whittington stepping up to help this offense on Sunday?
Well, they need to continue to do so. Ace Robinson, another player who's kind of stepped to the forefront in the absence of the big two, Puka and Cooper, being absent. They'll need to continue to do that because obviously with Kyren being able to establish himself, it's going to open up the pass game, and that'll be key for them. We didn't even mention that component for how important it is to get Kyren going, to open things up for Stafford and those passing lanes, and for the players you just mentioned, Tutu and Whittington, everybody else to be able to step up and have those opportunities.
Yeah, and Matthew Stafford just passed Eli Manning to move into 10th all-time in career passing yards. And he also achieved this, which I like to brag for him because he's such a humble guy anyways. He also achieved this milestone in 16 less games than Eli Manning. So he's just a badass. Like Matthew Stafford is that gunslinger, and it's really exciting to see sort of the way that they have been using Jordan Whittington, and you can see that Stafford's kind of developing a connection with him where he feels comfortable throwing to him. I mean, Tutu Atwell, 93 and 82 receiving yards in the last 2 weeks. So using these guys in the step up fashion, as you just alluded to, has been really important. So Jordan Love was back under center in the week 4 loss to Minnesota. He threw 4 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 interceptions. How do the Rams go about limiting Love and this offense?
Well, trying to go for the ball. And they know they're going to have opportunities. You mentioned gunslinger with Matthew Stafford. Jordan Love is somebody who is ultra confident in his ability, his arm strength, his ability to fit the balls into tight windows. And so they're going to have their opportunities. And obviously Minnesota took advantage of those opportunities, and the Rams will have to do the same. I just find it ironic that, their franchise quarterback in the lineup, they're 0-2 and have their backup that they just traded for a week before the season started, and they're 2-0. But that's just how the NFL is sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes things just don't make sense. And in a lot of the ways, how the Packers have started doesn't make sense in that regard. But I think, for the Rams to limit Jordan Love and to create more of those opportunities will be to slow down Josh Jacobs. And we saw what he did a couple weeks ago, and he went wild running the football, and they were able to ride him to a victory. So I think, stopping the run for the Rams will force Jordan Love to throw, and then try to capitalize on those turnover opportunities to really shift the ball game in the Rams' favor.
Yeah, I mean, cornerback Darius Williams' practice window started and has a chance to play Sunday. I think as of the moment that we're taping this, he hasn't been decided whether he'll play or not, or what that status is. I know Cooper Kupp will not be playing, but then there's the bye week, so there's a lot to sort of just hold on for the Rams. The Rams have the number 1 pressure rate in the NFL this season. Let's talk about a couple guys. Omar, what do you think about, Braden Fisk getting his first career sack against the Bears, and he had a 90.6 PFF grade, or Jared Verse has been really dominant. Obviously, we are missing Aaron Donald, and no one can replace him. But what have you seen about this young Rams defense that makes you excited about the future?
Well, they're relentless. They're ferocious. That Fisk sack especially, to sort of, wedge himself in the hole and then overpower the lineman to get to Caleb Williams was just impressive. I mean, that's what you hope every interior defensive lineman has the ability to do. And they don't always are able to do that, to kind of show off the speed, to beat the man in the middle of the hole and then overpower within the same play. And it's something we saw obviously for years with Aaron Donald. And I think this is just part of the legacy of Aaron Donald. I think for a couple years, we are still just going to talk about him. The shadow that he has on the history of the Rams, on the history of the NFL. And I feel like it's just so unfair to compare, these rookies, to Aaron Donald in that same breath. But that's just the way it is. That's just how this organization, winning a Super Bowl with Donald leading the way, it's just how it's going to be for a couple of years. But all that being said, I think he would be proud of the effort of these young guys. You mentioned, Fisk and Verse, they're leading the team for the guys up front in tackles, kind of speaks to their effort, making the most of the opportunities when ball carriers, whether it's quarterback or running backs, find them, not letting the, tackles be broken, by the ball carrier and the effort and everything like that. And then, to see, Kobe Turner and Byron Young, they're making plays as well. And so just to see that youth and the relentlessness that they play with is encouraging, and it's exciting. And I think, you mentioned Darius Williams, hopefully coming back to kind of strengthen that secondary for it to come together. And I think, as they sit here 1-3, and, obviously in Arizona a couple weeks ago, didn't look good. There's frustration in Chicago, the miracle comeback in San Francisco. I think, what we saw in San Francisco, I think embodies, kind of like the leadership that we've seen from Sean McVay, that no matter how the chips may be stacked against them, and this year, injuries, just overwhelmingly so this first month of the season, just taking it 1 week at a time, still continuing to work and develop and come together. And I think that's where they find themselves now. And I think, Sean has said it. They have to continue to work. You mentioned the fundamentals. And those are components in continuing to get better as the year goes on. And hopefully for them, it translates into wins. But I think the talent is there. And especially when you consider, the injuries, and hopefully those guys eventually come back and really fortify the team. And, what happens when you get a team that has so many injuries early on, you get guys that weren't counted on playing necessarily early, but they do get those valuable snaps. And then you build that depth for a playoff push. So, kind of when you think about things optimistically, especially when you consider that so many players on that roster were a part of that 3-6 team last year and made that push and continue to develop, I think they have an opportunity to do it just from an earlier standpoint this year. But the talent, I think, is there. The work ethic is there, and the leadership is there for these 2024 Rams.
Omar, the Ram Jam, I asked my same 3 questions to every guest. Describe your perfect day, start to finish.
Well, we're in the perfect season for it, and I'll even throw a little wrinkle. At NFL Network, we're starting the European games tour. We're going to have 3 London games, and then the Germany games a couple weeks after that. So starting with football at 6:30 p.m., watching the games all day, and then the night game sandwiched with playoff baseball, having both TVs going, Sunday night football, playoff baseball. I'm a huge Dodger fan, so hopefully the Dodgers will have, some of those primetime windows. And then same thing on Monday nights, Thursday nights, you have those primetime games, you have the baseball, throw some meat on the grill, maybe a cold one there. I think we have our perfect day cooking there.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. Which celebrity would you like to switch lives for one day, and why?
Oh, that is a good one. I would say Chris Pratt. He's always a guy that he's funny. He's an action star. It just seems like he has so much fun when he goes into work. And, I love to have fun when I go into work, and just kind of being on all those sets and Guardians of the Galaxy. It's all silly stuff. And he just seems like he's having a blast. For those reasons, I think that would be just so cool to be this big movie star, just having a blast at work, not taking himself so seriously, but still, producing content that people love to watch.
Yeah, you go Guardians of the Galaxy to Jurassic Park. He's been on a hit after hit list for forever. So that's a good answer.
Yeah, thank you. And you can, and I love going to, and the girls, we love going to Universal Studios for that Jurassic Park ride. It's so awesome, especially now they've kind of redone it with the Chris Pratt movies and the huge, shark. I forget the actual name of the dinosaur name for it, but it's like this huge thing that crashes into the window, and then you have the Tyrannosaurus Rex versus that new crazy dinosaur. It's just awesome,
Oh my gosh, it's so fun. And I love the original. Jurassic Park is like one of the Spielberg, me
too.
Of my favorites. Is one of my favorites. Iced coffee on a snowy day or a hot coffee in a heat wave?
Oh, geez. That is a great question. Oh my gosh. I'm going to say hot coffee, because I do this. Hot coffee on a hot day, because, I usually have a coffee maybe in the afternoon before I go to the gym. And that really gets me kind of sweaty and sort of warms me up already without even having to warm up. It gets kind of the juices flowing, and I'm able to have a good workout. The caffeine pushes me through, and it's hard for me to have cold stuff in cold weather. I'm not built for the cold. Some teams aren't built to come from behind. I'm not built for the cold. I can deal with the cold. Obviously, we get into those playoff months, and we're out in New England week 18, and it's snowing everywhere. I can deal with it, but I'm not built for it, Erica. So I'm a hot coffee on a hot day all day long.
Oh yeah, I'm iced coffee no matter what. But that's good. That's good. Year round, always. Hot coffee in the morning if I'm at home.
Southern California, then.
I know. I'm always, especially if I'm out. If I can have the choice to order it, it's gonna be iced no matter what.
Oh yeah,
Omar,
that's awesome.
Thank you so much for your time today. I'm feeling really excited, and I think this next stretch of games are really going to say a lot about this team and the gut that they have and kind of how resilient they are. So thank you so much for stopping by.
Hey, no problem, Erica. Look forward to seeing you in person soon, and thanks again for having me.
There he goes. That does it for this week's Ricky's Ram Jam. That is such a mouthful, jammies. But thanks to Omar, thanks to Xavier Smith, but also thanks to you. I love seeing all the comments and how you guys are picking throughout the coin toss. As soon as the episode posts, I love to run to the comments to see if you guys are choosing one or the other. So I appreciate you for following along and for all the engagements. Thanks so much. And we have so much more fun up our sleeves for the rest of the season of Ricky's Ram Jam. But as for now, it's on to the Rams-Packers game at SoFi. Let's ram it.